I'm going live here.
Yeah, mine is doing the same thing he did during the big show, where he wants to jump up on my leg while the show is going on.
I was going to ask you, Ben, are you available next? We're gonna record a show on Friday afternoon, like around 1:30, because I want to get Patrice on.
Next
Yes.
Friday, right?
Next Friday, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And I'm gonna do it again on June 9th because it's Wellbeing Day. So, and then that'd be a great show with Patrice because we'll be post WWDC. Two good shows.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get social media going here.
I'm still waiting for the anti-social media.
Don't worry. Twitter is working on being that.
Yes. Speaking of Twitter, boom. I like doing that on the stream deck. And boom. It's like instantaneous. It's amazing.
So Jeff, how's the ghost?
Oh yeah, what was that all about?
Yeah, what the hell? Earl's been pretty quiet the last few months.
Probably getting angry that you're leaving.
That's my guess. And boy, is he going to be pissed off when they start tearing this place apart.
Yeah, ghosts do not like change.
Nope.
Yeah. So, okay, so I'm sitting here where I am right now, and in the red chair behind me, that's where my cat was, curled up asleep. And I know she was in the chair at the time. And so the door is in the hall. So it's like straight across from me. Like if I went through this wall right here, and the door that's closed right now was open, so I could hear in the hall. And I hear the sound of the doorknob turning, and then I hear the latch, and I'm like, what? And I couldn't figure out what I was hearing at first because I didn't have context. And so I turn around, and the cat sitting there, like looking towards the hall with eyes like this. And I'm like, okay. And I get up and I step out in the hall and I'm looking around and I'm like, what the hell? I don't get it. And then I realize the closet door is open.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So that happened. And yes, I'm fully aware of the cognitive dissonance I have because I've had multiple interactions with Earl, but I do not believe in ghosts. Yeah, I mean,
I'm afraid no ghost.
Yeah, I've seen Earl multiple times. I mean, the creepiest, and typically it's not really creepy. It's just like this kind of surprising thing. And then everything feels super cold for a couple minutes. So weird.
Yeah.
The creepiest thing that happened though was one night I'm home alone doing dishes at my sink. And so this is before I had my cat. So no way cat could be involved in any of this. And I hear someone whistle loudly right behind me, and I feel the wind from their breath on the back of my neck. And I jump around because I seriously think someone's there, like someone is working in my apartment. And there's no one there. That one was just super creepy.
Yikes. All right. Social media is rocking.
He hasn't rolled any bottles down the hall lately. That was the thing when I moved in. I was trying to figure out which of my neighbors had a problem just with dexterity. Like, how can they drop stuff and have it roll down the hall so much? And how is it possible that it sounds like it's happening in my place? I mean, between me and my neighbor's directly across from me. It's a solid brick wall. And my neighbors below me, I mean, I'm dealing with the floors and, all of it. It can't sound like it's happening in my place. And then I'm sitting here one day and I hear the bottle drop at one end of the hall and I hear it roll, and I can hear it actually rolling down the hall. And I turn and the door's open. There's nothing there, but I can tell by the sound where it should be as it went rolling the rest of the way down the hall. And I'm like, what?
What the?
Yeah. And I do have somewhere, maybe on a USB stick, maybe on a hard drive somewhere, recordings from one of the webcams that I have in the hall, recording the sound of a bottle dropping and rolling.
You hear it rolling. Earl's ghosting.
Oh my God, Ben, we are writing Earl the musical. We'll have to call it something like "Don't Get Ghosted," or I don't know.
Oh my God.
Ben, did you eat chocolate earlier? You should do this.
Oh.
Beautiful.
All right. Everything looks in place now, right?
All is right with the world.
All right, let's go ahead and get started then. We're at episode 254. In 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome to episode 254 of In Touch with iOS, the show that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, and related technologies. I'm your host, Dave Ginsburg, and we got our regular crew this week. Ben Rethik, so great to have you back. Keeping that under the weather. You're back. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm just a little bit in pain from the back, but otherwise good.
Good. Well, I'm glad you're back. We missed you. And always great to have Jeff Gamet back on the show. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing all right. Especially since Ben is back. Ben, I missed having you around.
We did.
I mean, I miss being around. Being sick sucked.
Having Guy and Kelly to play off of was great. But the point is, it took Guy and Kelly showing up to replace you.
It did. It did.
Hey, they didn't replace me. I was in the chat room.
Yeah, he was chatting with us.
Okay, that's true.
You know what? And Guy's back in rare form because we love you, Guy, but he's out doing Guy's Daily Drive again. Okay.
You know what? You rock it, Guy.
You rock it. We know you're back when you're doing Guy's Daily Drive. But hi, Guy. We miss you. But we got some good stuff to talk about this week because Apple decided to drop iOS 16.5 like literally hours before we started recording this show. So we'll have plenty to talk about in the few hours we're able to absorb some of the information here. But we'll definitely hit on that topic, as well as a lot of good news stories. We're going to talk a little bit about some exploits involving that, as well as just all kinds of other stuff. We'll just definitely get to it. So, but let's go ahead and jump right into the news for this week. First story I got here is Apple Park at WWDC 2023 viewing event is to include a special ring tour, evening activity, and extended developer sessions. The 2023 Apple Park event that select developers have been invited to attend will include tours of the campus, special extra long developer sessions, and an evening activity, all of which are new compared to the events that was held last year. So developers will be treated to refreshments in the morning, followed by the actual live event, as well as all the other fun stuff that they would normally do. And then they'll be able to select from an inside the ring tour of Apple Park, an inner meadow tour with a ring tour. With developers, we'll visit Cafe Max, hear about unique architecture design. It just goes on and on. This is kind of cool for these developers. What did you think, Ben? I mean, I like that Apple's really opening up their doors to take a look to see Apple Park. Because we've always been very intrigued about it.
Yeah, I mean, this is great for the creme de la creme of developers who get invited to this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not it's pretty clear by this WWDC as we used to know it. It's changed since the pandemic,
Right.
but this, I mean, this gets people excited and interested in actually applying to go there.
Yep. Oh yeah. I mean, I'd be kind of cool to do that. That'd be like a really cool thing to do. What do you think, Jeff? Would you do it if they invite you?
Of course I would. I'm not even going to pretend like, well, I'd have to check my schedule. And,
yeah, there are a few probably
no,
do that.
no. I mean, if Apple said, "Hey, can you be here tomorrow? We're going to give you this really exclusive tour of all this stuff," I'd be online right now buying a plane ticket. But here's the thing about the stuff that they're doing on location. What I'm hoping is that this is symbolic of a more open and friendly relationship between the company and all developers.
Yep.
Yeah,
Apple has a mixed history with developers or with developer relationships. So
that's putting it kindly, Jeff.
Thank you. Yeah. So that this would be a really nice symbolic olive branch.
Yeah, absolutely. So good luck to you developers. You're going to enjoy that. And we're only 2-3 weeks away from this event, so it's getting close. I know. I can't believe already June coming very soon here. Next story, Apple overhauls support app with updated layout and easier access to local providers. Apple this week updated its dedicated support app to that is designed to help Apple product owners get help with their iPhones, Macs, iPads, Apple Watches, and all of the other accessories. According to Apple, the updated version of the app has a new layout that will make it easier to view and manage calls, chats, and reservations, along with quicker access and locations of nearby service providers. And I don't need to go even further. About all I have to say is hallelujah, because the app was getting kind of tough to. I mean, I remember the old days when we'd go to the actual local store and you got to just basically create a reservation and go. Well, now they make it so much more challenging. This is definitely a good thing to see, don't you think, Ben?
Oh yeah, especially if you're one of the many, many millions of Americans who getting to an Apple store is a day trip.
Yeah, that too. So you want to be assured that you're going to get in and be able to get taken care of. So
yeah, and if it's a local authorized provider who can do it faster, that's even better.
Yeah, absolutely. And they even say the main support tab is going to continue to offer all the same functionalities it did before: options to manage subscriptions, Apple Care coverage, search for device advice. That's a good tongue twister. What do you think, Jeff?
Anything Apple does that makes it easier to get support is good. I remember the not too distant past where just getting through the website or the app to even set up a Genius Bar appointment was like trying to untangle DNA. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was awful. And so I am so happy to see improvements that are making this easier, and just don't stop now, Apple. Keep making it easier to get support.
Please keep going. Next story, Apple Music and Apple Maps are launching new concert features this week. They did. Apple today announced that the new concert discovery features for Apple Music and Apple Maps that will be rolling out around the world, and it began this week. Apple Music is getting a new set lists page which spotlights a selection of major tours, letting fans listen to set lists and read about their productions. Then Apple Maps is gaining 40 new guides curated by Apple Music editors that highlight the best venues to experience live music around the world, with initial featured cities including my hometown, Chicago, Detroit, Los Angeles, Nashville, New York City, San Francisco, Berlin, London, Paris, Vienna. Patrice will be happy about that. Tokyo. Well, I guess that is a car that's in Tokyo. Tokyo, Melbourne, and Sydney, and Mexico City. And so this is. I started looking at this. I don't know if you guys did you Jeff at all look at this? I think it's kind of cool. It actually shows set lists and what actual concert is playing during that concert.
This is very cool. I'm very excited
Yeah.
to see it, and it's way overdue. This is one of those times where it's okay to say Apple's late to the game,
Yeah.
but we've got it now, so great.
Yep.
Now comes the next part where I complain on a regular basis about how this isn't available in the Denver Boulder area.
Yeah, Denver's a big city. What the heck? I didn't even think of that. But Nashville has it. Well, because Nashville has it because it's a music city.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, why isn't Kansas City on this list? And I'm not making a joke. Kansas City, Missouri is a really big city with a really active arts and music scene.
Yeah.
Not including Kansas City right off the bat, to me, seems really weird.
Yeah, it is strange.
But I mean, that's good. That's Google Maps in a nutshell. If you're one of 40 people in the world, you get really cool features. If you're not, you don't exist, Apple.
Yeah. If you don't live in the Bay Area, then then Apple has two demographics: our customers in the Bay Area and other.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to it. I like set lists. There's always times I go to concerts. I want to go back later and look at to remember the set list of the concert I actually went to.
Yeah.
So now we can do it without even going. So,
I guess what I need to do now is wait until I get off the plane at O'Hare for Macstock.
Yes.
And then start looking at the music app and see if I see stuff that I don't see here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I bet you will. There's a lot of great venues here. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Next story. This just broke today as we record this. iPhone driver's license feature in the Wallet app is now in a new state, Georgia. Georgia has become the 4th U.S. state to allow residents to add their driver's license or state ID to the Wallet app on the iPhone and the Apple Watch, providing a convenient and contactless way of displaying proof of identity or age. As we know, back in March, we noted that they had really been saying it's been really slow to roll out, but I think this isn't anything to do with Apple. This has more to do with a lot of the really bad management of our states and the beautiful United States taking care of this. So all you have is now, this is the 4th state that's added to the collection is Arizona, Maryland, and then of course your home state of Colorado, Jeff. So I guess you have firsthand knowledge of it because I assume you've added it, right? And you tried it out.
Of course, I added it right away. I haven't been able to try it out because, okay, here's the problem with the digital ID thing right now, and it's a problem of local acceptance. Yep. So in Colorado, I can use my digital ID at TSA checkpoints, which is great. If I get stopped by Colorado State Patrol, I can use my digital ID with them, and I think there's 5 cities in the state that support this. And the lack of support through the rest of the state is because none of these jurisdictions have the equipment they need to be able to do the scan. From you send the data from your iPhone to their device, they just don't have it. So it's cool to look at my digital ID in my iPhone every now and then, but I'm just not using it yet.
What's your thoughts, Ben?
Well, this is very good for the people of Georgia.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, Iowa was one of the first states in the nation to announce digital IDs, even before Apple said something.
Yeah, real IDs.
Yeah, and now it's been so long. I literally reported on it while at Geek Beat. I've been gone for 8 years.
Holy crap.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, so they said they were going to be one of the first to get on with Apple. Des Moines, get it together.
Yes. Come on.
Yeah.
Get it going. Illinois, Springfield, come on. Get it going. So they'll see how it goes. Probably be another 4 years before another state joins. So
yeah.
So
basically.
Next story here. OpenAI launches its official ChatGPT app for the iPhone and the iPad. This was announced today. Today, as we record this as well. OpenAI today announced the launch of an official ChatGPT app for the iPhone and the iPad. OpenAI's ChatGPT has been accessible on the web, and it's been made available through iOS through multiple third-party apps, many of which are a little better than a scam app, but this is the legitimate, real deal version that will give you a safe way to use ChatGPT on the go. It's as we know, it's an AI-based chatbot that uses generative artificial intelligence to answer questions and provide advice on all matters of subjects. We've talked about this many times, so they do. It is free to use, but it does cost $19.99 a month if you want to use the ChatGPT Plus service. I'm not sure what that gives you. Jeff, I know you're not you're wishy-washy of knowing. Do you like ChatGPT? Do you not? You know, we've had these debates before, but I mean, at least now we have an official app. We can play with it and not be happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so it's actually a really smart move for OpenAI to do this because they want people to be really invested on a personal level in ChatGPT and just in their LLM products in general. So put this on a device where you have an easy access point to potentially high adoption. Put it on the iPhone. Well done. I still have a lot of issues with the way they are doing this, and not just OpenAI, but all the companies that are very openly and publicly getting into this space. That's a whole another show. But this is a smart business move.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, pretty much what Jeff said. This really keeps OpenAI's name out there, where when it's been largely overshadowed by its derivatives, by its main benefactor, Microsoft, and others.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
So check it out. I mean, it's free to try if you so dare. But it's harmless. I've used it for some things. In fact, I'll admit I like it's always hard to truncate the information we want to share out with every show with posting to Twitter. So it helps me get it down to that 280 character limit that they have. So I've done stuff like that, but I'm writing it. It's just it helps to give you a little bit of assistance at trimming it. So it's not so bad. What is so bad is our friends who have Android devices. Texting between an iPhone and an Android users currently is broken due to this very bizarre bug. This was reported actually today as we record this. It's a bizarre bug that's emerged that it's affecting text messages between iPhone and Android users. According to a number of reports on Reddit, text sent from an Android user to an iPhone user has erroneously added an extra digit to the phone number. The problem primarily appears to affect Android users with an AT&T phone. There you go. Mm-hmm. So the problem is just adding a plus sign at the beginning of the phone number, and that's kind of strange. Like they're showing like they got +7, then the area code, and then the phone number. In the Messages app, the incoming message from the Android user is then split off into its own messaging thread. when the iPhone user tries to respond within that thread, the message fails to send. And they can respond as normal in the original thread, but when the person responds, then the new message is put back into that same thread with the incorrect international phone number. So they've been going on about this, and just the reason not to have Android and AT&T for that matter, right? But right, Jeff, go ahead.
Well, I enjoy the easy joke about this is a reason not to have an Android phone. The bigger problem here is, what is AT&T doing to screw this up? Because this sounds like an AT&T problem, not an Android or iOS problem. So
it seems it.
What are they doing?
Yeah, good question. I
Yeah.
just find that this to be bizarre.
Yeah,
Anything
someone
but-
is not having a good day.
Yeah. So be aware of that if you have your green bubble friends that you're texting from your iPhones here. So next story, our favorite weather app has done some really awesome updates this week. Again, I got all this fresh information just as we record this this week. Carrot Weather has received a notable update today with a number of improvements including changes. Arriving with the new release is a option to use new data sources, including open weather and regional services, a redesigned time machine, improved rain alerts, precipitation or starting and stopping, improved location details, a smart new layout, and more. And it goes through a lot of it. The new data sources are actually pulling from open weather, which as well as 4 new regional weather providers in Germany, France, Norway, and Japan. That, of course, we have to have premium, which we do, of course. Improve rain alerts. It's got that. Improve location details and many more. But no, I saw it interestingly enough when I went in there. If you notice it, that you don't even see any mention of dark sky anymore, right, Jeff?
Right. Yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense that Apple would eventually remove references to dark sky because that's not their branding. So, I mean, overall, this is cool stuff. Here's the funny thing. Yesterday, when this rolled out, yesterday as we record,
Yeah.
I hadn't bothered to check for updates, so I didn't get this update till today.
Right.
I wouldn't have seen the visual changes because I'm using my own layout, but I had like 2 or 3 people that I know complained to me yesterday. You know, what did Carrot do? They screwed up the interface. It's not the same now. So they did these new updates, and people that are just doing the updates without like reading all the notes, we're like, what the hell? This isn't what they do.
Use Carrot Weather, right, Ben? Right, Ben?
I don't. I actually use Apple Weather.
Oh, I thought you did. Okay.
Oh, well, maybe Apple Weather's actually useful where you are.
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, you can do Carrot Weather free. I think you could still use Apple Weather as its data source.
Yeah.
But premium is well worth it. I think it's got some great things, and it's super accurate.
Yeah. Yes, I'm using premium, and finding the right weather source for your area is important.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple more stories here. This was kind of surprising. Apple did this. This is the actual newsroom article from news release from Apple themselves. Apple introduces new features for cognitive accessibility, along with live speech, personal voice, and point and speak in magnifier. And the new software features will be coming up, of course, later this year, because this is pre-WWDC. Normally, we wouldn't find out about this until the actual event. So they actually officially previewed the software that features all those features I just mentioned, with some innovative tools for individuals who are non-speaking or are at risk of losing their ability to speak. Updates draw on advances in hardware and software, including on-device machine learning to ensure user privacy, and expand on Apple's long-standing commitment to make products for everyone. And, Apple's going through a lot of their press stuff and talking about all this stuff. They have assisted accessibility support for cognitive disabilities. Brittany be loving this. I'm sure she's loving this now that they're adding this. As well as assistive access will include a customized experience for phone and FaceTime, which has been combined into a single calls app, as well as messages, cameras, photos, and music. This is just fabulous. And there's all kinds of other stuff here. You can check the news release from Apple to take a look at all this stuff. Anything notable to you, Ben? What did you think of this?
Yeah, this actually, being a part of the guitar YouTube community, this actually hits kind of hard. There was a very well-known guitar YouTuber named Mike Milton. He ran the China Guitar Skeptic channel.
Hmm.
About a year or two ago, he was diagnosed with cancer and lost the ability to speak. Toward it, just before the cancer took him, there was a voice recreation he was able to do that kind of allowed him to get his last few videos out. But I mean, for anyone who has lost that ability to speak, being able to use your old words again, that just, this is awesome.
Yeah, no, I know Apple is been very supportive of this disabled community and helping people with all kinds of issues, including vision, which we didn't talk about, and speech and hearing, and so for visibility and and blindness, and so I think they're very good at accessibility. What are your thoughts, Jeff?
Excuse me. Yes, Apple is a leader in accessibility for these types of consumer devices. That said, there's a lot more they can do. What's great is that because Apple is doing what they do, it pushes other companies to step it up and try and match what Apple's doing. So keep it up, Apple. The timing on this does not surprise me at all, because this week was Global Accessibility Awareness Day, and I believe this dropped right before, like a day or so before Global Accessibility Awareness Day. So the timing fits beautifully with that. And for everyone that's thinking, wow, Apple must have a lot planned for their keynote, this totally plays into that. And yeah, I think there's a reason why we're seeing this announcement now, talking about features available later this year without mentioning the operating system. Yeah, this is stuff in the new version of iOS coming this fall.
Yeah, it's exciting. I would definitely be covering that next few months, and can't wait to find out about iOS 17 and all kinds of new stuff coming very soon here. We'll have WWDC good coverage here to find out more about it. So speaking of finding more about it, I don't know if maybe we really want to find out more about this, but for those of you who have lots of money to just throw away, the latest Hermes AirPods Pro 2 case costs more than an iPad Pro. Hermes revealed an expensive leather AirPods Pro 2 case and a separate lanyard that brings extreme luxury to your earbuds. The AirPods Pro 2 aren't too difficultly extremely compared to the original, but I just thought this more of a humor article here than anything else. But they do make specific accessories to account for their new features, and of course, Hermes had to get into this for their luxurious products. Their first product is a calfskin leather case for an AirPods Pro 2. It's completely encompassing the AirPods magnetic charging case, leaving a cutout for the Lightning port. Even though this product is specifically made for the AirPods Pro 2, doesn't have cutouts for the speaker holes in the case. However, the leather is likely thin enough to allow plenty of sound to pass through it.
Just get a hole punch.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, why not? No, you want to put a hole punch in a case that's costing you $930, but it does come in standard tanned leather colors of blue, green, pink as well.
Yep.
And then if you really prefer to have a nice take advantage of that lanyard that you have to have on it to wield it to really protect it from you losing it, you could spend another $335 for a lanyard made by Hermes. I know both of you are going to be running out and buying this case right away, right?
I've already bought 3. 2 of them just so I could throw them away.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's bad.
You know, Rene Ritchie already has one.
He probably does.
One of each color.
Yeah, I wonder if Barry Falk does, though, because he does have a Hermes Apple Watch band. So,
well, Barry needs this so that he has AirPods case that matches his watch band.
Exactly. We're teasing you, Barry. So
only a little.
It's just a little. Yeah, so I thought people would get some amusement out of that, because I don't think anybody's going to be buying it unless you're very wealthy. You have at it. And then the last story is, I thought this was a good discussion here. Macworld just posted this interesting article. We now know what Apple fixed in its first iOS and macOS rapid security response. They patched emergency WebKit 0-day flaws that have been known to have been exploited. They released this on May 2nd. Apple issued the first rapid security response under iOS 16.4, iPad, and macOS as well. And apparently, Apple was in such a rush to issue the update, hence rapid. They didn't want to wait for 16.5 or 13.4, which just landed today. However, the security notes for this under iOS 16.5 and iPad OS 16.5 and macOS and Ventura include the details of the fix. So it was a WebKit issue impacting processing web content, may disclose sensitive information. An out-of-bounds read was addressed and improved with an input validation. So you can get kind of technical here for those of you who are not too techie about this. So this was a pretty serious fix that they released. So if you haven't run this, I would hope you already did by now. But 16.5 is going to completely fix it. Be aware. So it's interesting. Apple hasn't done that before. So apparently they now are finally taking these exploits that these security gurus that are out there finding these things serious, because they wouldn't take care of serious for a long time, right, Ben?
Oh yeah.
Nice cat.
Yeah. Yeah, he likes being a pain in the butt.
Any thoughts on that, Jeff?
Yes, I know. Total surprise. It's possible that Apple was okay with this rolling out as part of the software updates that were coming, right, or have happened, but depending on how you're looking at it. And it could be that they thought this is a perfect opportunity to get a real world general test of the rapid response updates, because up until this happened, we had only had updates like this happening as part of the beta test program. Mm-hmm. So that this was the first general rollout. That said, I mean, these were active exploits, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So getting updates out right away was really smart. So
it was.
It wouldn't surprise me if there's a little bit of, yeah, we should just get this out, and a little bit of, this is a great opportunity to test this because we know we aren't that far away from 16.5 dropping, and we have the fix in there too.
Yep.
Yeah, and this is exactly what the rapid security response was meant for.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So it's bravo to Apple finally taking it the right direction here, getting these security patches fixed sooner than later.
This is one situation where I'm not going to praise them and turn around and complain.
Yeah, there you go. So that was the news for this week. I will throw out that PSA. We have this in the topics as well, as that just to make sure that you are updating to iOS 16.5, just to make sure that all those active exploited vulnerabilities are patched. Not only just the reason why it's a brand new release. There was an article here actually talking about there was 39 security flaws and 3 actively were exploited. So there's more than just those 3. We got an article from 9to5Mac that goes through a lot of what was there, but definitely make sure you're updating to 16.5 as we said earlier in the show, that this just dropped today as we are recording this. So it was definitely interesting to see that they dropped it so late in the week. They usually drop it like Mondays or Tuesdays. So some of the things that are now added in 16.5 we had been talking about, but now you're officially going to be able to see them. A sports tab is in Apple News. They have a dedicated sports tab in Apple News. I'm kind of excited about that because being a sports fan, I know Ben, you probably are too. That they have quick access to stories, scores, standings, and other information in Apple News. So you can now select your favorite teams and leagues and get personalized news, which is awesome. We did talk about last week that they were going to be releasing the Pride collection wallpaper. to go along with the Watch Band that's being released on the 23rd next week, along with Final Cut Pro for the iPad as well as Logic Pro. And they got an accompanying watch face as well as they have a lock screen that looks really cool. That it has a collection there as well. There was some bug fixes. There was a big problem with CarPlay where podcasts weren't loading the content. Fixed an issue where Spotlight may have been unresponsive. And then, of course, the security flaws, which we just talked about, were a big thing as well. So, as well as, and I think iPad OS 16.5. I know, Jeff, like I said, we were just scrambling to get all this installed to even look at it. I don't think there was much else different in iPad versus iPhone. Similar exploits and updates, or in iPad as well, which is a good thing. Also, let's talk about WatchOS. WatchOS 9.5 was released. I just updated my watch a little while ago. And not much to see if there's anything as far as 9.5 is. I think we're going to be more excited about WatchOS 10 because there's been some major rumors about a major overhaul of the OS. So again, they got the Pride Band matching face that's going to be included, and there was some unspecified bug fixes on the Apple Watch. The HomePod got its updates. I didn't check those yet. I got to go through those. I'm sure you probably didn't have a chance to do that either, Jeff.
No, I didn't.
So
I'll start it right now, and we'll see if it actually works. Usually, this screws up, and I have to mess around with it to get it to actually install on all my HomePods.
Yeah, so just got to go into the Home app and go in. You could force update it. Again, there hasn't been really much as far as any notable changes other than stability and performance improvements, like they always say, and they always are not true. Then tvOS got its updates as well, and I was beta testing that on one of my extra Apple TVs. Which they did include that multi-view sports feature will allow Apple TV users to stream up to 4 sports games simultaneously. And it works with MLB Friday Night Baseball and MLS season pass matches right now. And the grid view can be enabled by selecting the grid icon in the timeline bar during those events. So, well, they got to expand on this sports thing. I mean, not everybody's going to want to watch just Friday Night Baseball and MLS because the games aren't every day, and we want to expand it to other sporting events too. So
they need to expand it outside of sporting events
outside of sporting events. Yes, you want to be able to watch other things.
Yeah. More importantly, they need to expand it outside of their app.
Right.
Oh yes, yeah. Good point.
They should. If they got it in the app, why not outside of it?
Yeah, I mean, this and MLB.TV or ESPN Plus would be just a killer feature.
Yeah.
It basically turns your house into an instant sports bar.
So,
exactly.
Ben, once I get all of the baseball stuff set up, it'll be great for you because you can watch 4 black squares at the same time.
Exactly.
There you go.
Look, I remembered a sports thing from you, Ben, and I made a sports joke.
Yes, me and my 6 blackouts.
That's right.
Mark the date on the calendar, everyone. I made a sports joke.
I still don't understand why Ben has to experience that. It's just so stupid.
That is absolutely stupid.
I have literally never met a Kansas City Royals fan, but I can't watch their games.
Crazy. So we've got that on tvOS, and then I was going to mention macOS Ventura that I just updated my Mac on that as well. That had some bug fixes, which also includes the same similar stuff that they did in iOS. One of the big things I'm happy they're finally going to address is the problems with the auto unlock with the Apple Watch, because that thing would never work for me.
God, yes, please.
Ticking me off here. Bluetooth keyboards, screen time, and voiceover. The update also added the sports feed, what we talked about on the sidebar of the Apple News app, and it also introduces a simplified beta installation method that was first introduced in iOS 4.16.4. So now this update, the developers and public beta testers enrolled in their programs can now toggle between beta updates from the system settings and without the need to install a profile, which is pretty cool, because that was always a pain. An Apple ID associated with that public beta or account or developer account, of course, is going to be required before you can even turn it on. But now you don't have to install a configuration profile anymore. So, but it's good to see some more updates on the Mac side of things as well. And that's about all you can probably expect for this week for all these updates. And we'll be now waiting until June 5th when the big announcements happen at WWDC in a couple weeks. So. Next topic I wanted to talk about is Apple did have another news release here talking about the App Store and stopping more than $2 billion of fraudulent transactions in 2022. The App Store launched in 2008. God, I can't believe it. It's how long ago it's been since that launched. And with the mission was like they say was in accomplishing two objectives: establish a reliable and secure platform for users to safely discover and download apps, and provide developers with an exciting opportunity to showcase their ideas and grow their business. So Apple's done a very good job of protecting developers and is protecting their users as well. Because we always continue to talk about, I don't know, bring up Android, but the Google Play Store is just not a secure place to be buying apps. It's just it isn't. So they show some statistics here. Apple with the account frauds that Apple has rooted out 428,000 developer accounts and 282 million customer accounts that were for fraud and abuse last year. That's a lot of accounts if you think about it.
A lot of accounts.
There's really a lot of accounts. So the app review process is they had nearly 1.7 million apps submissions rejected. Boy, that's impressive. I mean, to have how much work that is and how much staff. And yeah, go ahead, Jeff. What do you think on that?
It's impressive, and at the same time, how many of those apps should not have been rejected? Like, there's so many stories out there that you can see like practically daily where developers are complaining that they submitted an update or a new app and it was rejected for what feels like very arbitrary reasons. Still, that said, if you're going to reject as many apps as Apple has, you need to have a pretty impressive system in place to do that.
Yeah.
Guy is in the chat room at youtube.com/intouchwithios, and he's says he's downloading updates that we just talked about, and he will disappear soon. So good to see you, Guy.
I can't wait to see when I just drop from the show because my Mac is updating. I'm kidding, but I know you had a split second where you're like, did he really?
No, I know you did.
If you had a Windows machine, you would definitely disappear from the show.
right. Without me having to do anything, it would just happen.
Yeah.
It would be done and gone by that time. So, but I mean, I think they've done a really good job of protecting things. The other stats that are interesting here to me is they had over 1 billion ratings reviewed and processed, but they also had more than 147 million of them that were blocked and removed because because of stupidity on a lot of people's parts of having to say something that wasn't true. Credit card fraud was another thing that they spouted about, and then it was 3.9 million stolen credit cards were being blocked from being used. 714,000 of those accounts banned from transacting ever again, but more than $2 billion in potential fraud transactions were prevented. So, again, this is a press release, so you're probably they're tooting their own horns, and I think this is something that is just to be appreciated. I feel very safe in the iPhone world, iPad world of app store. And bravo to you, Apple, for protecting us and having a good ecosystem. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, once you get as big as the App Store is, you're going to have problems with fraud.
Right.
And I mean, it still is a problem. I think there are too many copycat apps still in the store that Apple should maybe think about something, to do about. But it's pretty impressive. They have done what they can.
Yeah,
Or done what
absolutely.
they have.
Absolutely. So good stuff, Apple. Thanks. Keeping us safe. We appreciate it, and we also appreciate the fact that we get to enjoy all the great apps that are out there in the ecosystem. So, I thought this week we'd do a little bit of This Week in Streaming, or I said In Touch with Streaming. So we've got a couple. I got a couple stories here I wanted to touch upon as far as the streaming world's been kind of active. The first one is Showtime and Paramount Plus is finally going to merge into one service on June 27th of this year. They've been working towards a single app experience for quite some time, but I think the wait is almost over. And we'll know that both services will go live. I mean, I'm actually a Paramount Plus subscriber, but I also added Showtime. And they were kind of treating it as okay, you have Showtime, but you also have Paramount Plus. But now they're going to brand it and that it's both. I think people, cable companies like Comcast are starting to get a little worried because I could tell. I'll tell a story. I told Jeff in a bit here about that. But yeah, I think these services are starting to take away a lot more and more cable subscribers by day. I think cord cutting is happening at a much faster pace. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to save money by cord cutting, but you're also going to get, because that's kind of a fad now. That was the case many years ago, but it really isn't anymore. It's you're still paying a lot of money for all these different services, but I really like the fact that I'm paying direct to HBO. I paid it for a full year, and I only had to pay, I think it was like $13 a month as opposed to $16 a month to the cable company. The same thing with Paramount Plus and Showtime combination, as well as Disney Plus, which I got a big bill for Disney Plus. I think it went way up. I think it was I have the ad free, so it's $119 for the year. But yeah, divide that up 12 months, it's pretty decent. So, but this is, I think you're seeing the trends with this. What I was going to bring up was with Comcast is, I'm just getting so sick and tired of paying the exorbitant bills every time the contract comes up, because they cover you for a year or 2 years. Long story short, I had a family member, part of our family, were paying almost $275 a month for their triple play service, which is no longer in existence. I talked it down to $168 a month.
Yeah, so that's pretty impressive.
So it's it can be done, and you have to be insanely persistent. I probably spent over 2 days, but I was using Twitter as my tool to communicate with Comcast to get them to finally do something about it. Especially a family where with internet speeds, you don't necessarily have to be worried about as far as the part of that package. They're getting the 200 megabit speeds. That's most people need. Us, we like to have high speeds. I'm at my gigabit Ethernet and others, but you don't really need that in most cases for people. They are all panicked now these days because they think, oh my God, I gotta have 1 gigabit. I'm on my work calls all day long, and it does matter. So, but on the side of the TV part of it, I think Comcast is starting to spin away from TV. They're realizing now that it's just not a profit center that it used to be. So good to see that. It's good to see the Paramount Plus and Showtime is combining. Of course, we love Paramount Plus because of Star Trek. That's our primary reason. But they've got a lot of other great shows on there. I like Halo. I like Fire Country as a show. It's on CBS that you can watch on the free network. But it's nice to be able to watch it and not have to watch commercials when you pay for the ad-free version. I can't wait till Sylvester Stallone's Tulsa King comes back. That's a great show. I want to watch that, and there's lots of other great stuff on there too. So they're definitely a good service to have here. So and then speaking of rebranding, is I think it's the same day as we have for Final Cut Pro on the iPad. It's HBO's Max service is not going to be just rebranded Max, which I still think is freaking crazy.
That oh my God.
I know. So the story here is that actually they're going to offer the same day new episodes and just 4 minutes of ads per hour. I didn't even know they were going to show ads. They certainly better not be showing me ads if I'm paying for the ad-free version of that service.
I will start flipping tables.
Yeah. So it will launch on the 23rd. It'll update on all and it says on most devices. So of course, who knows if the app gets pushed right away. But they go through their plans. If you have, so they are changing one of their plans. They have an ultimate ad-free plan for $200 a year for four concurrent streams in 4K. I don't wonder where my plan fits in, or do I get grandfathered in here?
Say that number again, because I have to believe I misheard you.
No, it says Max Ultimate ad free, $19.99 or $199.99 a year for 4 concurrent streams, 4K Ultra HD resolution.
I did mishear you. Okay,
and 100 offline downloads, Dolby Atmos sound quality. Okay, so they have three. They still have three ad free tiers. So the ad light plan will be $9.99 a month or $99.99 a year, 2 streams at once. And then the max ad free, you'll get $15.99 a month, $149.99 a year, and that's 2 streams at once, but 30 offline downloads. So you don't get that low plan. You don't even get offline downloads. Well, I hope they leave my plan alone, because I got all my family's on it, and you can only watch 2 streams at once. Really? So they really are. Sounds like just like Netflix cracking down on password sharing. HBO Max is changing as well. But of course, it's only 4 minutes of ads per hour. Okay, right.
Only 4 minutes.
Only a minute. You think about it. That's not
flip frickin' tables if I start seeing ads.
Too terribly bad. Other interesting thing is, this new ATSC 3.0 technology for a broadcast over air is the new digital services that's going to be over an antenna. TV stations are not going to be able to watch free local TV anymore without an upgrade to their service. So Comcast has added content protection to encrypt some of its NBC Universal owned stations, and it's covering. So far in the article, they talked about Boston as Comcast NBC 10 in Boston was spotted as it being that way this year. So basically, what's going to end up happening is they're going to encrypt it, so you can't watch the free local TV without upgrading of your actual box or being able to get it, or are they going to continue to broadcast under the ATSC 1.0? So again, here's another reason why Comcast is trying to start getting out of the business and to do this kind of stuff, encryption, as well as I think one cable company already, as I heard, I think WOW is the cable company, is getting out of the cable TV business completely and just partnering with YouTube TV with streaming. So
most of them have, but I will say one thing about the ATSC 3.0.
Yeah.
Right now there are so few stations that support this, and even fewer TVs and external tuners.
That too.
I mean, right now ATSC 3.0 is a publicly available beta test. It really does not affect that many people right now.
Yep.
Now, I haven't been following this very closely because I typically don't watch any local content, and I'm not even paying for a cable TV package.
Right.
So what happens if I plug an aerial antenna into my television to pick up an over-the-air signal? Do I have to have a special converter box to be able to view the over-the-air signal going direct into my television?
Currently, no.
Not right. Yeah,
Right.
that's ATSC 1.0.
That's 1.0, right?
Okay, so this is only the signal as it's coming through a cable service.
No, this is okay.
Over the air. This is over the air.
Yeah, yeah. It's a very much enhanced over the air signal,
Right.
which in theory can give you a lot of the same features that cable currently does.
Yep.
But I'd say we're probably 5 or 6 years from it having any kind of adoption.
Yeah.
And
So
that's even if.
So if I want to, let's say 5 years down the road, hook up an aerial antenna to my television so I can watch a local news broadcast, then I won't be able to view that broadcast because it will be encrypted, and I need a special box to plug between the antenna and my television to watch an over-the-air signal.
Yeah, it'll be a lot like it was in the original digital tuner days.
That's a load of crap.
Yeah.
That
No, I agree.
sucks. That's stupid.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I mean,
what
like
happens
said,
to people who don't subscribe to any cable service and watch television for their local news and for emergency alerts?
Yeah, that's a whole other topic.
They're
With
just,
that is as well as
okay, you know what I see happening right here? It's soapbox time. Not only is this a load of crap, but this is creating a new digital divide where you have an elite status that has access to information, and the people that they don't want to have access to information are now being cut out artificially. This is crap. I do not like this at all.
I mean, it's just like, you had those services that tried to put over the air local stations on the internet, like Locast, which went away, and a lot of the others in the past. And there's other services are attempting this, but they have to pay all these rebroadcasting fees to these networks, so they can't do it anymore. I mean, it's horrible. I mean, trying to cut cords. I wanted to go to YouTube TV, but there's channels on there that I like that are not on there that I like on traditional cable. So it's just it's a bad thing. So there's a great guy on YouTube, and if you've seen him before, his name is Antenna Man. He's a really he talks about this a lot of this ATSC stuff and pretty intensely. He's very a geeky antenna guy, and I'm gonna put a link in the show notes to check that out, because he'll get even more in depth of this stuff, and he's just as up in arms about this as we are here. So
yeah.
All right, so I just found Antenna Man on YouTube, and when I start watching his stuff, I'm probably going to be walking around my apartment flipping tables one time.
But I will say this: given the way streaming is going, there's a not insignificant chance that ATSC 3.0 never really gets off the ground.
Well, if this is a thing that's being industry pushed and not government mandated, then getting widespread adoption, I think ultimately would be a problem.
Yeah. I mean, right now we're at the point where most TVs do not ship with it, and the converter boxes are $250.
Yeah, screw that.
It's really expensive right now. It's still in its infancy, so I think we got a ways to go yet before we can get too overly up in arms on this. So
too late. I'm already just pissed off.
All right, let me pull you away from this topic. Peacock is actually going to be officially streaming an exclusive NFL game this year, which I think is crazy. You're not going to be able to watch it on any other network other than Peacock. Add that to the bonus of, if you were a Comcast subscriber and had Comcast cable TV, but they were giving you Peacock for free as included as your subscription. End of June, you're now going to have to pay for Peacock for at least $5 a month if you want to continue on to watch that. So that's the kind of stuff that's happening.
All right, I'm still on my soapbox. How long before these sports conglomerates, corporations start doing deals where you have to subscribe to like three 5 whatever different streaming services to see the games, because they have exclusive deals with all of these partners.
Right.
And that, yeah, I totally see that coming. I don't even watch sports and I'm pissed off.
You'll get even more pissed off when you hear this.
I'm sitting down. I'm ready.
Okay. Right now, the NFL has games that are going to be only on that playoff game only on Peacock. There's Amazon Thursday Night Football on Prime Video.
Mm-hmm.
There's the ESPN broadcasts, which they occasionally give you ESPN Plus, but most of the time it's cable only.
Right.
Then you have the CBS AFC broadcasts, which are broadcast on the Paramount Plus app.
Right.
And then Fox has no streaming contracts or services whatsoever. Right. So you have to have to get all the games. You have to have both cable and streaming.
So the scenario that I said, and this is coming, it's already here. And what the hell? How are people okay with this?
Yeah. We're not. No. But the thing is, these companies have more money than we do.
But they shouldn't. And you know what? As long as I'm on my soapbox, what's up with us having to pay for a stadium for these teams? Yeah. And then you have to pay ticket prices to go in and use the stadium that you just paid for. And the team gets a tax cut. So now you have to supplement the tax base by paying their taxes for them. What the hell, people?
Yeah. It's bad. All right, let's get away from this topic.
Yes.
I've got one.
Yeah, see if you can come up with something that pulls me off my soapbox.
All right. Oh, Halide. You know Halide? They make that great camera software for the iPad on the iPhone. They created a new. They launched a new service called Skylight for iPhone to predict spectacular sunsets. If you ever wanted to wish that you could find the lighting conditions to expect at the end of a day, this new app is gonna. It's from the makers of Halide and Spectra. It's here to do that. So it's Skylight for the iPhone and offers forecasts for golden hour sunsets and afterglow with a thought of a beautiful and with a thoughtful and beautiful UI. So you actually can go to the app. It'll actually tell you when the sunsets are, and you can go to when they happen. And it does a lot of things. Like it does take into account like dozens of atmospheric factors. For your location, paired with some proprietary smarts to deliver a daily forecast of the golden hour, so you can go enjoy that sunset. It's a pretty cool app, and it's free to try, but it is priced at $199 a month or $9.99 a year, and it's a limited launch price right now. So that's a limited pricing. But I thought it was a cool app, and I checked it out. I didn't go see the sunset yet, but I thought it was kind of a neat idea to do that. You guys think?
I think sports teams are totally screwing us over. What a load of... Wait, I'm sorry. We moved on.
Sunsets.
Think of beautiful this sunsets. Is cool. I really like this idea. I think for a lot of people, this will be a really useful app, and it will help them get better photos, and they will be happy, and that's awesome.
Absolutely. So,
and check it out. Halide is a really great app.
They make sense.
I used to use my iPhone 12 Pro, and I'm paying for a Halide. And when I do my really close-up shots, like of little flowers and stuff, I'm using the Halide app for that because it handles the macro-ish photos better than the iPhone 12 Pro can do on its own.
Absolutely.
Great app.
All right. Before we wrap things up, I wanted to get mention a few things here. First off, I wanted to give a shout out to, I think he goes by Scallion. He bought me a coffee this last week, and I really appreciate it. He made a comment that says he loves the podcast. Well, I love that you love this podcast because we enjoy doing it. So thanks Scallion for that buying me that cup of coffee. We appreciate it. And the way you do that is go to intouchwithios.com/buy me/coffee, and you can you can do that. Thanks again. And also, I want to make sure we'll keep mentioning it every week until it happens. The Mac Stock 7 is here. The tickets are now available. We have the link in the show notes. I'm speaking, as well as Jeff Gamet. So is Brittany Smith. So is Chuck Joyner. So is Allison Sheridan. And so is so many others. You got to come check us out. It was officially announced that the venue has changed. So we're going to a much cozier, more intimate place. I was at this place. It's in downtown Woodstock, right in the heart of the Woodstock Square, which is kind of cool. So it's going to be in a neat little place. We held it there in 2021, right post pandemic. Well, it was a little freer, but we were still really locked down, so that's why it was there. We were all wearing masks, but it's a really cool, small, cozy venue. It's got a nice stage. You're gonna be able to have a lot of great fun times there. So definitely come check us out. The event is on July 22nd and 23rd. And we got links to the show notes as far as how to get to it, which is macstockconferenceexpo.com. Or you can you also can take a look at the speakers links, and it gives you all the list of all the speakers that will be happening there as well. So come check us out. And if you also choose, there's also a link there for the Midwest Mac barbecue that Barry Falk is holding on the day before, 2 days before the event on Thursday, July 20th. If you go out there and tell him you heard us on In Touch with iOS, you can RSVP, and if you mention us, he'll let you in, and you'll be able to hang out with us and have some barbecue and probably some wine tasting too. So nice. Go and check that out. So, and with that, let's go ahead and wrap up for this week. That's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our email address, which is feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Twitter and Mastodon at In Touch with iOS. You can support the show by buying me a coffee like Scallion did at intouchwithios.com/coffee. We would really appreciate it. You can become a Patreon of the show by going to patreon.com/intouchwithios. We have 2 tiers available to support the show. We would really appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you're notified when we are live streaming, which is usually on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/intouchwithios, where you can watch the current live show like we're doing right now. Thanks, Guy, for being in the chat room. Or you can also watch the past live streams and see what of our many antics there. I leave that up there live, so everybody can just watch all that content and have fun. But we also have the recorded shows on there as well, so you can go to YouTube and listen to that if you'd like. Visit In Touch with iOS magazine on Flipboard, where many of the topics we discuss are flipped into that magazine. The link is in our show notes. You can subscribe to our show in your favorite podcatcher, including Pocket Casts, Overcast, Apple Podcasts, and many others. You go to our website at intouchwithios.com. I put some nice new clean links and buttons in all the places you can listen to us there. So go right to our website to check that out. And that's all the ways you can listen to us are there right on the site. And I am Dave Ginsburg. You can find me on Mastodon at DaveG65 at mastodon.cloud, or also on Twitter at DaveG65. Ben Rathick, glad you made it back. We had a lot of fun here. How can people get a hold of you?
Yes, we did. Well, Dave, I almost called you Jeff. You can find me at Ben Rathick on your social media of choice. You can also find me at my website, rathick.tech. You can find me here, of course, Thursday nights, Tuesday on Mac Voices with Chuck Joyner, Thursday mornings with the British Tech Big Show with Jeff Gamet, and Friday mornings the British Tech Mac Show with Jeff Gamet, and most times also this Dave Ginsburg guy that you might know.
Yeah, you might.
He's a guy.
Thanks for being here, Ben. Jeff Gamet, as always, thanks for being here. We appreciate it. Where can people find you?
Well, when I'm not muting my microphone so I can argue with my cat about being a place she's not supposed to be. How about Mastodon and Instagram? Jay Gamet on both. And then, like both of you, Chuck Joyner keeps letting me back on Mac Voices Live on Tuesdays. Dave, you keep letting me back on In Touch with iOS here on Thursdays. So thank you for that. It's always great to get to hang out with you and Ben. And then let's see, Thursday early in the day, as Ben mentioned, the big show on British Tech Network, and then on Fridays with both of you on the Mac show on the British Tech Network. And then Brian Chaffin and I record the Context Machine. And I believe tomorrow is Friday, which means that we'll be recording another show. Nice. My guess is that we will find something to rant about, because we often do. More accurately, I will find something to trigger Brian and make him rant.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thanks again for being here. Definitely appreciate it. One programming note: next week we're going to record a show a day later because we want to have Patrice Brennenborg come back on the show. It's been too long since she's been on, and scheduling can be tough because she doesn't get up late at night for us, because it's really early in the morning for her. So we're going to have a show on Friday, and we'll probably be around 1:30 Central Time streaming, and looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Until then, thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll talk again soon.
All right, I have an update for you on the HomePod. It is still trying to download. It's just now at, I don't know if you can see it, almost at a quarter of the way done.
Jeez, why does it take so long?
Yeah,
hey, it might be ready by 16.6.
Right. And by 16.7, I'll finally be able to get it to install on all of my my HomePods.
Yeah. It'll install version 16.66.
That seems totally appropriate.
Oh wait,
so many levels.
I have a network mismatch. I have to switch to my other network because of Comcast.
Yeah,
because that's the HomePods are on there, so I can have my Apple TV to play them. Damn you.
Yeah, they should just rename themselves Concast.
Yeah.
Didn't they already do that? So on the whole pricing thing, I found out when I needed to do my annual call and complain about my rates going up. Wow, I really talked myself way out of the sentence with that one. Anyhow, so when I had to do that last time, and I was complaining about the whole thing, that's when they finally told me that because of some federal regulation change, they have to offer a fair price for people that don't want to pay for channels where all you want is your broadband. And so it took me from paying like $95 a month to have broadband and a television package that I never actually used, to paying $60 a month for a 1.2 gig down connection.
Lovely.
Yeah, but they weren't going to tell me. I had to probe,
of course not,
and get that information out of them.
So you got a gigabit Ethernet.
Well, and it's faster now. So I have a 1.2 gig down and 25 up, which is so stupid. Why is it still asynchronous? Well, I know why. It's because they charge insane amounts of money for the business packages where they give you synchronous.
And AT&T does 1 gig up and down for me.
Yeah, how about that?
For $80.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well.
Yeah. Boy, I was all ranty.
Oh, well, I picked some topics I knew you'd there would go.
That's karma, because I intentionally say things to trigger Brian. So it's only fair that it comes around and people know how to say the right things to get me to go off.
All right, well, I'm saying goodbye to live stream.